But first, a very interesting report that's just dropped about the King not wanting to be dragged into Harry's row with the Home Office.
The revelations that would rock the monarchy to its core and change a king's life forever. For decades, rumors and speculation have surrounded the paternity of Prince Harry.
This really is an interesting story about Prince Harry and his relationship with his father, the King. Of course, he's had this long-running court case,
with many suggesting James Hewitt might be his biological father. Now, a stunning court case has finally revealed the truth that nobody saw coming. And King Charles himself was the one most devastated by the news. Today, we dive deep into the bombshell DNA results that left King Charles collapsing in court when he discovered he is not the biological father of either Prince William or Prince Harry. The British royal family has weathered many storms throughout its long history. From abdications to divorces, scandals have come and gone, but few have had the lasting impact of the rumors surrounding Prince Harry's paternity. For years, tabloids and Royal Watch have speculated about the true nature of Harry's parentage, focusing particularly on Diana's relationship with James Hewitt. The red hair, the similar features, and their shared military background all fueled speculation that Hewitt, not Charles, might be Harry's biological father. Despite repeated denials from all parties involved, including Hewitt himself confirming that he met Diana only after Harry was born, the rumors persisted and haunted the royal family throughout the years. Former royal correspondent Thomas Markham explains, "These paternity rumors have been some of the most persistent in royal history. Despite clear evidence to the contrary, they've never completely disappeared from public consciousness." The speculation intensified every time Harry made a public appearance, with royal watchers scrutinizing his features and comparing them to both Charles and Hewitt. Social media only amplified this obsession, with side-by-side comparisons frequently going viral online. The public has always been fascinated by the idea, says royal expert Victoria Barnett. It's like a real-life soap opera to them. But for the royal family, it's been a painful shadow following them throughout the years. Among the aristocratic circles of British society, the rumors were treated as an open secret, whispered about at social gatherings but never directly addressed. Some former staff members at royal residences have claimed that even within palace walls, the speculation was impossible to escape. The backdrop to these paternity rumors was the notoriously troubled marriage between Charles and Princess Diana. Their relationship, once heralded as a fairy tale, quickly deteriorated into one of the most publicly dysfunctional royal unions in modern history. Charles and Diana's marriage was plagued by incompatibility from the start. The significant age gap, different interests, and Charles's ongoing attachment to Camilla Parker Bowles created a perfect storm of marital unhappiness. By the mid-1980s, both Charles and Diana had begun seeking comfort outside their marriage. Charles rekindled his relationship with Camilla, while Diana reportedly found emotional support and later romance with various individuals, including her riding instructor James Hewitt. Royal biographer Eleanor Hammond notes, "The Wales marriage was effectively over long before their official separation. They were living largely separate lives, united only by their official duties and their commitment to their children." Diana herself would later confirm the breakdown of her marriage in her infamous 1995 Panorama interview, where she made the heartbreaking admission that there were 3 of us in this marriage, referring to Charles's relationship with Camilla. As their marriage disintegrated in the public eye, rumors about the paternity of their children, particularly Harry, began to circulate. Though Diana and her close confidants consistently denied these rumors, the speculation persisted. What started as a routine privacy lawsuit against a British tabloid took an unexpected turn when the defense team made an extraordinary move that would change everything. In an attempt to justify their reporting, the newspaper's legal team requested that the court order DNA testing to finally put the paternity question to rest once and for all. Royal expert Catherine Wilson recounts the moment. "The courtroom fell completely silent when the request was made. It was unprecedented for a privacy case to take such a dramatic turn. No one expected the judge to actually grant the request. But in a shocking decision that sent ripples through British society, the judge ruled that given the decades of public interest and the significance to historical record, the testing would be permitted under strict confidentiality protocols. For the first time, the king himself would be subject to DNA testing as part of a legal proceeding, along with both princes. The unprecedented nature of this request caused immense tension within the royal household, with some advisors suggesting that the king refuse on constitutional grounds. However, after extensive private deliberation, King Charles reportedly made the decision to comply with the testing order. He believed that the truth would vindicate him once and for all, says one palace insider. He was confident the results would finally silence the rumors that had followed Harry for so long. The legal argument stretched over several tense weeks. The royal family's attorneys fought vigorously against the testing order, citing sovereign immunity and the right to privacy. The newspaper's defense team argued that the public interest in establishing the truth outweighed privacy concerns, especially given the constitutional implications for the line of succession. In the end, the judge issued a carefully worded ruling. While the court acknowledges the extraordinary nature of this request and the unique position of the individuals involved, the questions raised are of such fundamental importance to both historical record and potentially to the constitutional arrangement of the nation that testing is warranted. The DNA testing was arranged with unprecedented security and privacy measures. 3 independent laboratories, one in Britain, one in Switzerland, and one in the United States, were selected to conduct parallel analyses to ensure accuracy. Special protocols were established for the collection and handling of the samples. The entire process was overseen by a court-appointed special master, a respected retired judge with experience in sensitive cases involving high-profile individuals. The collection of samples took place in the utmost secrecy at a private medical facility in London. King Charles, Prince Harry, and Prince William each arrived separately through different entrances to maintain privacy and avoid media attention. Additionally, with the court's permission, DNA samples from the late Princess Diana were retrieved from stored medical specimens. Though James Hewitt was not ordered to provide a sample, he voluntarily submitted to testing, stating publicly that he wanted to end these harmful rumors once and for all. The testing process itself took several weeks, with each laboratory conducting multiple verification procedures to ensure the integrity of the results. The findings were sealed in separate envelopes and delivered directly to the judge, with no copies made and no digital records kept. As the date for revealing the results approached, security around the courthouse was tightened. Court staff were required to sign enhanced confidentiality agreements, and cell phones and electronic devices were banned from the courtroom where the results would be read. The day the results were to be revealed, King Charles insisted on being present in court alongside his sons. He wanted to stand with them as a family, says one royal aide. He believed that this would finally be the end of decades of harmful speculation. The atmosphere in the courtroom was tense as the judge prepared to read the findings. King Charles sat stoically between his 2 sons, occasionally leaning over to whisper reassurances. When the judge began to read the results, the color visibly drained from the king's face. The DNA test conclusively showed that he was not the biological father of either Prince Harry or Prince William. According to witnesses present in the courtroom, Charles initially seemed confused, as if he hadn't properly heard the judge's words. As the reality of the statement sank in, he gripped the railing in front of him, his knuckles turning white. As the judge continued reading the findings, revealing that another man entirely was the prince's biological father, Charles reportedly swayed in his seat before collapsing forward. Court officials rushed to his aid as William and Harry, themselves in shock, moved to support their father. It was as if the floor had disappeared beneath him, reports one courtroom witness. His entire worldview shattered in an instant. Everything he believed about his life and family was suddenly thrown into question. Court was immediately adjourned as medical personnel attended to the king. He was discreetly removed from the courtroom on a wheelchair, shielded from view by privacy screens. The princes followed close behind, their own shock momentarily set aside in concern for their father's well-being. News of the DNA results sent Buckingham Palace into immediate crisis mode. An emergency meeting of senior royal officials was convened, and the Queen Consort was informed of the developments while the king received medical attention. Palace sources described the atmosphere as solemn and deeply concerned, with immediate questions about not only the king's health, but the constitutional implications of the revelation. Royal historian Dr. James Barrett explains, "This finding doesn't just affect Charles personally. It raises profound questions about the knowledge or deception within the highest levels of the monarchy for decades. Was this truly unknown to Charles, or has there been a massive cover-up?" Either scenario has enormous implications. The identity of the prince's biological father remains under court seal, though speculation has run rampant across social media and in press circles. Within hours of the court session ending, the royal family's most senior advisors gathered at Buckingham Palace. The Lord Chamberlain, the monarch's most senior official, coordinated the response, while the king's private secretary managed communications with the sovereign and the Queen Consort. According to palace insiders, contingency plans that had been in place for various royal emergencies were inadequate for this unprecedented situation. There simply was no protocol for this, revealed one former royal aide. The monarchy has faced abdications, divorces, and scandals, but nothing that fundamentally questioned the very foundation of the current reign. Security around royal residences was immediately enhanced, as officials feared public reaction and media intrusion. The Royal Communications Office, responsible for managing the family's public image, went into complete lockdown, with all scheduled announcements and appearances temporarily suspended. Following his physical collapse in court, King Charles was taken to a private medical facility for treatment. Initial reports suggested he had suffered from a sudden drop in blood pressure, triggered by extreme emotional distress. However, sources close to the king revealed that his condition was more serious than initially reported. The shock triggered a cascade of physical symptoms, says one insider. It wasn't just a momentary fainting spell. His body literally couldn't process the emotional trauma. Doctors reportedly kept the king under observation for several days, concerned about the impact of such extreme stress on a man of his age. The Queen Consort remained constantly at his side, canceling all her engagements to support her husband through this crisis. Beyond the physical symptoms, those close to Charles describe him as experiencing a profound psychological breakdown. "He's questioning everything," says one longtime confidant. His entire identity as a father, the legitimacy of his reign, his decades of preparation for the throne, all suddenly undermined by this revelation. The king has reportedly been cycling through stages of disbelief, anger, and profound grief. At times he insists there must be a mistake in the testing, says one source. At other moments, he seems to accept the truth, but then becomes overwhelmed by the implications. Most concerning to those around him has been his repeated questioning of his entire life's purpose. "He keeps asking what it was all for," reveals one courtier. "All the duty, the sacrifice, the waiting to be king, if he isn't even the father of the heirs he believed were his." With this shocking revelation, attention has turned to the late Princess Diana and what she may have known. Former members of Diana's staff have come forward with claims that the princess had confided in them about her fears and secrets, though none claim she ever revealed the truth about her son's paternity. Diana's former private secretary told reporters, "The princess carried many burdens and secrets. She was often trapped in impossible situations not of her making. If she kept this secret, she would have done so to protect her boys above all else." Royal biographer Sarah Thornton suggests, "Diana was always protective of her children. If she knew the truth, she might have believed that revealing it would only cause them pain and destabilize the monarchy they were born into. As investigators pieced together the timeline, it became apparent that Diana must have known the truth from the beginning. Her diaries, parts of which had been sealed until now, were requested by the court. Those who have seen the relevant entries describe them as heartbreaking in their honesty. One entry, reportedly written shortly after Harry's birth, contains a cryptic reference. "The truth would destroy everything. I must protect my boys at all costs. This secret will go with me to my grave." Diana's former protection officer Ken Worf noted, "Looking back, there were moments when she seemed to be carrying an impossible burden. She once told me that being a royal meant living with secrets that would shock the world. I never imagined something of this magnitude." After a week of seclusion and medical treatment, King Charles made an unprecedented personal decision that caught even his closest advisors by surprise. Against medical advice, he insisted on addressing the nation in a televised broadcast from Buckingham Palace. Seated at his desk, visibly thinner and with obvious signs of strain, the king spoke directly to his people for the first time since the revelation.
Throughout her life, Her Majesty the Queen, my beloved mother, was an inspiration and example to me and to all my family.
"Throughout my life, duty has been my watchword," he began, his voice steady despite his frail appearance. "Today I address you in the most difficult circumstances imaginable, yet still guided by that same principle of duty. Duty to the truth, duty to this great nation, and duty to the institution I have served all my life." In a 20-minute address that royal watchers have called the most extraordinary royal speech of modern times, Charles acknowledged the DNA findings, expressed his shock and heartbreak, and then revealed his decision. "While I came to the throne through bloodline and lawful succession, I cannot in good conscience continue to reign under these circumstances," he stated. "The monarchy must be based on truth and legitimacy. Therefore, I am today announcing my abdication in favor of my son William." The announcement sent shockwaves through the nation and around the world. Constitutional experts scrambled to process the implications, noting that unlike the abdication of Edward VIII in 1936, this situation presented unique legal challenges. Charles continued, addressing the paternity revelation directly. "William and Harry have been my sons in every way that matters. Though I have now learned I am not their biological father, the love I have for them remains unchanged. They are and will always be my sons in heart and spirit." He concluded with a request for privacy. "I ask now for understanding as my family and I navigate these uncharted waters. Some may judge harshly the circumstances that led to this moment. I ask only that you remember that behind the crown and titles are human beings, capable of both error and, I hope, dignity in facing the consequences." With Parliament having cleared the constitutional path, preparations began for William's accession to the throne. The transition, originally expected to take place decades in the future, was now being expedited under the most extraordinary circumstances. Charles, in one of his final acts as monarch, issued letters patent confirming his full confidence and support for William's succession. In a private ceremony at Buckingham Palace, he formally handed the instruments of abdication to the Lord Chancellor, bringing his brief reign to an end. William, thrust into a role he had spent his life preparing for, but never expected to assume so soon, and certainly not under such circumstances, approached his new responsibilities with what observers called remarkable composure. In his first statement following his father's abdication announcement, William addressed both the personal and constitutional dimensions of the situation. "The circumstances that have led to my accession are unprecedented and deeply painful for my family. However, the duty to serve transcends personal considerations. I pledge to uphold the traditions and values of the monarchy while acknowledging that healing and reconciliation must now be our priority." Harry, meanwhile, issued a brief statement from his home abroad, expressing support for both his brother and Charles. "This has been a seismic shock for our family," he wrote. I ask for privacy as we process these revelations, and I offer my full support to my brother as he takes on his new responsibilities. As for Charles, those close to him report that after the initial collapse and crisis, he has found a measure of peace in his decision to abdicate. He feels it's the honorable path, says one longtime friend. By stepping aside voluntarily, rather than being forced out, he's maintained a degree of dignity in an impossible situation. The former king has retreated to his beloved Highgrove house, where he is said to be focusing on his health and well-being. The queen consort has remained steadfastly by his side, canceling all public engagements to support her husband. In a final twist to this extraordinary saga, sources close to the investigation reveal that a letter from Diana.
In one, she describes how a young Prince William showered his baby brother with an endless supply of hugs and kisses.
Written before her death, has been discovered among her personal effects. The letter, addressed to William and Harry and dated just months before her fatal accident, contains her account of the circumstances surrounding their birth and paternity. While the contents remain private, those who have seen it describe it as heartbreakingly honest and written with profound love for her sons. One palace insider reveals, the letter explains everything: how it happened, why the secret was kept, and most importantly, how much she loved William and Harry regardless of biology. She wanted them to know that family is about more than DNA. It's about love, sacrifice, and the bonds formed over a lifetime. As Britain and the world adjust to the extraordinary events that have transformed the monarchy, one thing remains clear. The story of the British royal family has taken its most unexpected turn yet, with consequences that will reverberate for generations to come. In Charles's own words from his abdication speech, history will judge these events as it will, but I hope it will also recognize that in the face of painful truth, we chose integrity, even at great personal cost. Perhaps that, in the end, is the most royal thing of all.